They said betrayal never comes from blood. But inside the palace walls of Ouagadougou, the cameras went dark, footsteps echoed in silence, and a cousin raised his gun against his own president. This is the untold story of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the soldier who turned betrayal into a weapon, and exposed a shadow war that never wanted Africa to rise. The night was heavy, the palace unusually quiet. Guards rotated slower than usual. Somewhere, in the dark, Yakuba, Ibrahim's cousin, waited. The cameras covering the hallway suddenly blinked to black. A signal jammed. Yakuba pulled out a pistol, his hands trembling. But Ibrahim's instincts were already awake. He had sensed the silence. His men stormed in just as Yakuba pulled the trigger. The shot rang, but the bullet missed its mark. Within seconds, Yakuba was in chains, staring at the man he once called brother. But Ibrahim felt no relief. He whispered coldly to his generals. "This isn't family. This is war." He ordered a lockdown. No one leaves. No one sleeps. Every name. Every call. Every shadow, traced. Across the border, General Brissac leaned back in his villa, cigar smoke curling in the night. The message arrived, the attempt failed. He knows. Brissac didn't flinch. So, he muttered. The boy is still alive. But not for long. On the table before him lay folders, satellite images, coded transmissions. French intelligence had buried operatives across West Africa. Drivers. Cooks. Doctors. Even cousins. Their mission was clear: break Traoré, not kill him. Not yet. Back in Ouagadougou, Ibrahim convened his war council. Advisors sat in a bunker lined with signal jammers. Trust was scarce. "My own cousin tried to kill me last night," he said coldly. A silence fell. His security chief replied, "We're sweeping everyone. Staff, visitors, vendors." "Not enough," Ibrahim snapped. "They are buried too deep." Kitchen staff, drivers, even communications officers vanish like smoke. Madame Ouedraogo, Foreign Affairs advisor, leaned forward. "This is bigger than you, Captain. It's an attack on our sovereignty." Ibrahim nodded. "Exactly. That's why I'll reach out to Moscow and Beijing. We need tools, cyber, and signal intelligence. We traced this to its source." The council agreed. The rules had changed. Burkina Faso wasn't defending anymore. They were hunting. But betrayal cut deeper. Soon, another name surfaced: Moussa Traoré, Ibrahim's cousin and head of his driver unit. Moussa had been by his side for years. Loyal. Quiet. Trusted. But French handlers had mapped motorcade routes, blind spots, and security overrides, all through him. When Moussa was detained, he didn't break. Calm, consistent, unshaken. "He's either innocent," one interrogator said, "or very well trained." Ibrahim stared through the mirrored glass, torn between blood and duty. Then he made his move. "Don't break them," he ordered. "Use them." Moussa and Yakuba would remain in play, double agents feeding the French handlers misinformation. Every word scripted by Ibrahim's intelligence team. Troop movements. Palace weaknesses. Fake divisions. All lies. And the enemy believed. At night, Ibrahim walked the palace gardens. Rain washed the stones, the air smelled of earth. From the hedges, Moussa appeared. Half in shadow, half in light. Their eyes locked. No words were spoken. But in silence, Ibrahim understood, this war was no longer political. It was personal. General Brissac grew restless. Intercepted reports didn't align. "They are stalling," he muttered, pacing his villa. "Strike now, before they regroup." But Traoré was already prepared. French-backed mercenaries crossed the border. And straight into an ambush. Gunfire tore through the night. Burkina forces struck fast, coordinated, ruthless. Key operatives were captured alive. Documents seized. Names revealed. Proof. Proof of betrayal. Proof of French interference. At the podium, Ibrahim's voice rang with defiance. Colonial shadows will no longer poison Africa's future. We fight with unity, with intelligence, and with courage. Across Africa, millions listened. For the first time, hope surged. Captured operatives were handed to international courts. Evidence revealed networks of covert operations, hidden behind the mask of foreign aid. Inside the palace, Ibrahim spoke to his advisors. We won a battle. But Africa's war for dignity continues. From now on, we train our own. We defend our own. We rise on our terms. No one disagreed. Even Musa and Yakuba, once traitors, were reassigned. Watched closely, yes, but trusted to rebuild what they had nearly destroyed. Because betrayal had been turned into strength. And so, Ibrahim Traoré's name spread. Not as a puppet. Not as a placeholder. But as a soldier. A strategist. A survivor. He had proven one thing. Africa will not be ruled from the outside. Not anymore. Years later, historians would call this moment a turning point, not just for Burkina Faso, but for the continent itself. In classrooms, in rebel camps, in government halls, his name echoed. A warning. A legacy. A promise. Traoré will not kneel. And Africa will not break. If this story gripped you, if you believe in betrayal turning into strength, and truth outsmarting power, like this video and subscribe. Because this is just the beginning. The next chapter is coming. Stay sharp. Stay free.